is time to meet our keynote speaker, who has been an entrepreneur since 1987 and is the founder and principal of 3 financial services firms. His distinguished IRS career included corporate and tax-exempt auditing, tax law. He has also held numerous management positions in the IRS district, regional, and national offices and service centers. He also served as a national leader of the High Visibility IRS Compliance Program. Our speaker currently lectures on tax, business, and financial management topics. And in addition to that, he has presented small business administration seminars in the areas of management and nonprofit operations. He is a member of the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, the American Bar Association, the National Bar Association, the Montgomery County, Maryland branch of the NAACP, and other professional organizations and government agencies. Finally, he is a member of the Maryland Society of Accountants, the Institute of Management Accountants, and the National Ethics Association. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a rousing welcome for Mr. Donald Carroll Mulroney, a friend to the small business community.
Thank you, Tia. Are you going to hold the mic to the audience?
I can.
Okay.
Okay, because you're mic'd up. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I think I've met almost everyone, but I will meet everyone before I get started. Let me just say we're not going to be able to cover the entire discussion today. We've got about an hour to talk, but what I want to make sure is that we all leave here with some serious takeaways. I want this to be a session where we begin to think outside of the box and think about where our businesses are going to be or where we want them to be sometime in the future. We're talking about taking your business to the next level, which presupposes that we have to be at some level to begin with in order to go to the next level. And so let's form a context. Let's have a discussion. Tia's got a mic, so I encourage everyone to, when you have a question, please, this is participatory, okay? It's not a lecture. I want to make sure that we're all talking together and learning together, okay? So first of all, business owners. How many of us own businesses? Fantastic. 5 years or less in business. Great. 10 years? Good. 15? 20? All right, I like that. So when we go into business, our primary objective is to provide to the public skills that we have or skills that we believe we have that are going to generate money and do good things for the public. Is that right? We want to make money and we want to do well for everyone else. That's a good thing. But when we start our business, what we want from that business is for it to also provide us with a living. Is that great? If that calls for me, just tell them I'm busy right now. And so I propose that at the very first level that we need to discuss before we even go to the next level, that we need to look at it in economic terms. Being in business, in my perspective, is all about economics. Is anyone thinking that you're in business because you want to do good for the public? Yeah, raise your hand. Yeah, there we go. Don't be shy. That wasn't a trick question. The trick questions come later, okay? But while we're doing good for the public, we also want to be able to feed ourselves, feed our families, take care of our economic responsibilities. Would you say that? Yeah. And we also want all of those things to be provided by our business. We're doing good things for the public. We would expect that at some point in time, our business would allow us to live well. True? And so at our first level, that's where we start. That's what we're looking for. We're looking to begin to provide services, but for that business that we're starting to be able to allow us to live. Will we say that? Good. What would be our next point of contention in our business? Wouldn't we want it then to move from, please? Hello, Alexis. Alexis. Do we need a mic, Kurt, for Alexis?
Okay. I'm sorry, I was so fast. That's where I am, to be able to provide employment to those in the public. That was my whole point of going into business.
Okay. And when you say employment for you, employment for other people?
Oh, employment for other people.
Okay. All right. We're going to get to that. All right. Alexis is a plant. I want you to know that right now. Okay? After we have that living, what we're looking for then is for that business to provide us with some level of financial security. Would you agree with that? Okay. Now, again, we're setting the framework now, so I need to know whether or not we're all on the same page here. Services that we can provide to the public that generate revenue, that have a business that allows us to have a living, our families, but then allow us to move from that living to financial security. And financial security, just for the sake of this discussion, is when we don't have to worry about where the next dollar is coming from, okay? After moving from financial security, what would be our next step? I'm going to tell you. It's financial independence. We want our businesses to be able then to put us in a position where we don't have to worry about where our next dollar is coming from or where the business's next dollar is coming from. I propose that that's the first level that we should all be thinking about, or our businesses should now enjoy those kinds of rewards for us in order for us to begin to think about what is next. So, while we're talking about that, everyone here, we had some folks who've been here in business for almost 20 years. I don't need names, I don't need numbers, but I do need some participation. Do we think that we have a business right now that's at the stage where it can provide our personal living, our personal financial security, and also our personal and business independence? How many folks think that they are at that point? Okay. So before we talk about the next level, which is about our business building wealth for ourselves as shareholders and for itself as a value, we need to then concentrate on where we are now. Now, one of the things that happens is we're so busy trying to build a business, make the money, provide the services, keep the business going, that we don't really have a chance to stop and think about ourselves in long-range planning at the first level. We don't. We're trying to run a business. It's nice to talk about planning, but when do you get time to plan? You know, after you sleep and you eat and you work all day, seriously, when do you get time to plan as a business owner at the first level? But you have to. You have to be able to carve out that time, because if you're always working, you're not thinking, and if you're not thinking, you're not planning, and you'll never, ever get from the first level to the next level. I contend, and I'm sure Sheree can agree with me, that most businesses don't even reach the first criteria of being able to provide a personal living wage for the owner. And why is that? Again, we don't have the ability to plan ongoing. So we go to SCORE, we go to SBA, we get our business plan done. It's gorgeous. We go to the bank. The bank loves our business plan. They fund us. After that, we are so, trying to find a nice word, we are so dedicated to making sure that we stay in business, pay back that loan, do all the right things that we're supposed to be doing in business and have been taught to do in business, that we really don't think about what the future holds for us. For most of us, we say we are going to take care of our plans for ourselves, for our wealth at some point in time in the future. 3 years, 5 years, after the next big contract, whenever. But it's always we take care of ourselves in the future. If we're able to take care of a wage just to let us crawl along and maintain our bills, we're normally happy because we feel that at some point in time in the future, something's going to happen. We don't know what it is, a gigantic contract. Something's going to happen that's going to change our fortune. And that's external, isn't it? When actually what I'm trying to advance right here is that we have to take our futures and make it internal. We have to start thinking that this business that we have has to provide for us, living wage, first thing, personal financial security, second thing, and then thirdly, personal financial independence. That is the first level. And we don't think about our businesses from that perspective. And so I want us to now change our focus, change our context, and let's look at our discussion today purely from an economic perspective. I don't really want to know what you do, who your clients are, how much revenue you generate, how many employees you have. What I want us to think about is, I started this business. I started this business for a purpose. But that purpose is now not altruistic, it's economic. I've got to live. My family has to live. I need to be able to live well within my means, but well, to make it all worth it. And then at some point in time, very soon, I need to be able to know that I don't have to worry about my financial security. I don't have to worry about the future of my business. And also that I know when my golden years come, that I don't have to worry about money then, outliving my money. And so while that's a long way away, and traditionally we leave it for later because it's a long way away, I need us to begin to think about it at this level right now. It's been my experience, both personally and as a CFO, that when I walk into a business, we start talking about how do I make money now? Good discussion. That's where we should be. The next year, we talk about how well have I been making money? In the third year, we talk about, now how can I take some of that money and put it away so I'm not spending all my money? But unless we actually put it on the agenda, the business owner never brings up the discussion, Marini, how do I get rich? Marini, how do I make this business make me wealthy and financially secure? Marini, if I put my money in the stock market, will it do well? If I put my money in an annuity, would it do well? If I hit the lottery, would it do well? But the question never comes up, how do I make this thing that I gave birth to, that I live and breathe every single day, that all my resources, all my sweat, all my blood, everything is in, how do I make this thing turn me into a wealthy person? That's what this entire discussion is about. That's the next level. Wealth is the next level. And so I want to define that before we can even talk about the next level, we have to make sure that at this level, we have the things in place to at least provide us personal financial independence. And once we're there, we can start thinking about what's next. Now, the context of this is normally, where are you now? Well, I'm doing really well in my business, and I want to grow my business. Or I'm doing really well in my business, is growing, and I want to have 19 offices. That's not economic. That's business. That's going concern. That is another discussion that we can have. But at this level, for this level, we need to talk about how do you take care of you and your responsibilities from what we're doing every day. Is that a good context in which we can start? Okay. So I contend that the business plan is the most important document that a business owner and his advisors or team of advisors can put together. It is a roadmap. It is, I'm here, or I want to be here, and I want to get over there. How do I do it? What are the milestones that I use to measure how well I'm doing? My wife Brenda has a book called Magnetizing Unlimited Abundance, and in it she uses a car as the vehicle that people can use to get to abundance. But she talks about getting the map first, looking for the hotels, where you're going to stay, learning the route, where the restaurants are. I mean, that's the business plan. It is your ability to sit down and with assistance And I'm not talking about hiring somebody. I'm talking about doing your research, your marketing research, your demographic research, your competition research, with assistance being able to say, this is how I plan to get to that door within the next 5 minutes. I'm going to walk straight or I'm going to walk crooked, whatever happens. And if I walk straight, it's going to take me 3 years. If I walk crooked, it's going to take me 4. And I know that I'm getting there because once I get to Scott, right? Once I get to Scott, I know I'm halfway there. If I get to Ani, I'm 3/4 of the way there. And once you put that business plan together, you have to use it as a monitoring tool. Don't write it and put it away. When you get to Scott, look at your business plan, and it says, I'm half the way there. Are you really? Are you at Scott and not half the way there? Are you at Scott and 2/3 of the way there? Did you not make it to Scott? And why? It's our time to take our roadmap and figure out, are we realizing it? Are we achieving it? Does it need to be modified? Do not be afraid to change in business. The course that you're on today may not be the course that's destined. Do not be afraid to change. And I know that's a digression, but I need to stop there. Also, do not be afraid to fail. Failure is a chance to do it right the next time. Do not let those words govern your life. Trust me. I have 3 companies now, but none of those companies are the ones I started in 1987. And why? Because things happened along the way that made me smarter, made me sadder, made me richer, made me poor. And the first time that I went through a recession, 1990, I had never been through a recession before, because before that, I always had a paycheck. So when you have a paycheck, what's a recession? I don't know. Something you read in the papers. But when you are in business, you are on the economy. And everything that happens, no matter where it happens in the entire world, impacts your dollars. You may not see it, you may not know it, but I need you to begin to realize it. Everything that happens anywhere in the world impacts your dollars. So before 2008, when everything fell apart, the first time in my life it fell apart was 1990. I had 20 people on staff. I had money that I owed to the bank for accounts receivables, which I was using to pay payroll, planning, doing right, surgeon heal thyself. When that recession hit and it was really hard to make payroll, the first thing I thought of is I failed. I've been doing this 3 years and I'm about to go bankrupt. The fact that I took the time to feel sorry for myself was time that I lost in getting back to where I should have been. I was fortunate enough to have my business coach who said, wake up, let's get back to work, okay? No more meandering around. And let me tell you, once I did that, I wrote this poem, which I'm going to read to you. It was written in 1990, and it goes, I built it. From nothing, I made it real. I sacrificed and toiled to achieve my ideal. I put my skill and talent into every facet. It is all that I am. It's my most prized asset. I shared it with the ones who have shared the most with me. My talent and success is possible because many believed in me, but I built it. Every one of us in this room can say that. Whatever business you are in, no matter who helped you, no matter who is helping you, no matter where you go, it is your prized asset because you dreamed it, you developed it, you created it, you built it. Now we have to make sure that it stays, becomes a going concern, and that we profit from it personally and our families. I built it, you built it. Can we say it together? I built it. Fantastic. So don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of failure. Let's keep moving. Back to the business plan. Thank you for that question, Peter. The business plan becomes important because we then have to find the time to stop thinking solely about the business continuing and to plan for the business to continue. Now, I want to make a distinction here. On the next level, while you're still planning, you're strategizing, you're future thinking, which means that you're thinking out 20 years, 30 years, longer for what you want to happen after you reach the next level. You're thinking, how do I get my money out of the company when I leave it? I'm going to leave it to my kids. I mean, we're thinking long range when we're strategizing. When we're strategizing, we're looking at what's happening everywhere in the world. When we're business planning, we're looking at our immediate situation. We're looking at where our money's coming from next. We're looking at where our money's coming from the next 15 months, 12 months, 24 months. That's planning. But we don't get time to plan because we're so busy trying to make sure that the company is running. I'm asking every one of us to begin to think about, how do I carve out the time to do the planning that's going to assure that at this level, I am getting, number one, anybody? Personal living. Number two, personal financial security. Number three, personal independence. Okay? I'm going to keep asking you because I need you to be there. I need you to be there with me. Okay? In this presentation, we're probably not going to get to the next level. So tell Sheree, tell Tia, we'll come back, we'll get to this. If we leave today and our outcome today is that when everyone leaves that door, they're talking about personal independence, we've achieved our discussion today, okay? That means that we have the ability to get to the next level. If we don't achieve personal independence where we are now, the next level is a dream, and probably is a dream that's not going to come true. And I contend that businesses don't fail because they're undercapitalized necessarily. Businesses fail because the business owners don't realize that that is an asset that they have that has to be managed. Asset that they have that has to be managed is an economic asset, which means that everything that happens to the economy outside impacts the value of your asset, and that you are an asset manager. Business owner, yes. CEO, yes. President, yes. Asset manager, absolutely. And what we want from each one of our businesses at the end, when we either sell it to someone else for a lot of money, transition out and leave it to our next generation where they have a jump start on their economic futures, merge with someone, whatever. That's the exit plan. That's the game plan. But before that, we have to do things that are absolutely mandatory at this level. Now, I'm going to embarrass her because I didn't know she was going to be here. And I'm not going to look at her because if I look at her, she's going to do one of these, and then I'm not going to call her. But there is a business owner in this room who is probably the smartest individual I've ever met. And I mean that very seriously. And why do I say that? Because as CFO, normally I'm the smartest person in the room. And I don't mean that immodestly. That's why they hire me, okay? I'm the smartest person in the room. My job is to guide the business to the next level. What rarely happens is when you interact with a CEO who is smarter than you, who challenges you to make them better, thereby making you better. That's what happens. And this lady just sold her business. I'm not going to tell you how much, but I would love to be her. She sold her business, and not only has she sold her business, but she had other businesses which she is continuing to run. And so she's not out of business. She's just one of those people who started at this level, went to the next level, realized the economic value at the next level, and she's doing it all over again, which is a sign of an entrepreneur. So definitions, and I hate definitions, but let's do this. Business owner, we work hard every single day. Entrepreneur, we work hard every single day, but we take the opportunity to diversify our sources of revenue. Yeah, diversify our risk, but we diversify our sources of revenue into multiple businesses and multiple lines of business. And so, Frankie, okay, she's going to punch me. So anyway, we have in the room, and I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you'll find, I challenge you to find her, a person who has actually done what we're talking about today. Started it, first level, second level, the rewards of second level, and is continuing to do that. So the reason I bring that up is because it happens, it's possible. Everyday people do it, which means that we can do it individually. And I need you each to believe that, because if we can believe we can do it, it's possible. If you're sitting here and you say, I can't do that, then there's no need in you even being in business. We have to believe that it's done. And in this particular instance, we all know someone who's done it and is still doing it. Okay? Is that a good context? I know it's a long context, but are we on the same page? Good? Great. So, business plan we talked about. Absolutely mandatory that we have one. Does it have to be 96 pages? Of course not. Can it be 3? Absolutely not. What's the most important part of a business plan? Anyone? Most important part? Peter goes right for the strategics. Getting clients. Absolutely.